have a big problem of arguing the immigration situation here in the U.S. There's a lot of people anti-immigrant. I would like some more immigrants. I'm really tired of waiting 40 minutes for an omelet at Denny's, but it is crazy. And of course, my smartest students are from somewhere else. My foreign students are developing algorithms at home for trading, and my U.S. kids are in the French Quarter doing Jello shots. So it is. It's not hard to realize. But without immigration, the U.S. population of working-age people shrinks. And if you want to see what that does, take a look at Japan, Italy, and some other countries. If you don't have enough new people coming in, because you have aging populations, and they need to be restored. In fact, because that's the way the game is. You take Medicare or Social Security. The reason it works is these people retire. I'm almost, I'm 65. We need new people paying those taxes to make it work. So this is kind of the situation where we're in right now. The other thing about immigration is that over 40% of the Fortune 500 were started by immigrants or their children. And that seems weird. A lot of times they were kind of maybe pushed aside by traditional jobs and traditional corporations, and yet, so they started their own. At Intel's Science Talent Search, less than 20% of the applicants had parents born in the U.S. So this was the creme de la creme of science, and less than 20% had parents born in the U.S., and 25% of the nation's physicians are foreign-born, and that is actually higher in Canada than it is in the U.S. That was something we really found out after COVID. So the thing I'm describing for the economy, which I think will lead to higher stock prices, of course, is lower inflation, lower interest rates, and I think the Fed is going to be able to thread the needle and do all that, lower inflation without throwing us into a severe recession. We might be a mild recession, it might be no recession, but that's kind of a miracle. And so I think that's why I'm so optimistic. I sometimes call it a Goldilocks economy, which is a good term, not too hot, not too cold. But if you think about it, it really didn't work out well for Goldilocks. She got her ass thrown out of that cabin. And just want to say, those bears. This is the way we measure, at least in class and such, the way we measure if the economy is expensive or cheap. And one thing, and really another way to think about it is what's a better deal now? Is it stocks or bonds? And basically, you take the earnings for the S&P 500, which is 225 this year, and this year. Probably it's not quite done yet, but that's what it seems like be. And the price of the S&P, as a couple of weeks ago, was 3,700. And if you do that, with the 10-year yielding about 4%, and the stocks, this earning, the 225 divided by the 3,700, gets you 6.1. And since 6.1 is higher than 4, it means on a risk-return basis, stocks are more attractive than bonds are. Now, one of the things we've seen is, I got in this business in 1979, and interest rates just kept going lower and lower and lower and lower. And finally, we started to see interest rates go up. And people just freaked out because they forgot that when interest rates go up, bond prices drop. It's an inverse relationship. I always remember I had a woman come up to me and she goes, I said, which stocks do you own? She goes, oh, we would never buy stocks. They're too risky. We have all our money in long-term bonds. And I keep thinking, you're going to be the person that calls the broker in about 6 months and go, excuse me, what are these parentheses in my account? And I don't mind getting older. I'm kind of looking forward to moving to one of those retirement communities because the male-female ratio is awesome. It's good. If you can drive at night, you're George Clooney. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Some downsides. They have to get up to pee in the middle of the night, but it breaks up the night. I think that's pretty good. The kids are all right. These kids I'm teaching now. I'm a boomer, and everybody says, oh, they're nothing. They live in their parents' basement, and they're saving up for a new tattoo. They're not. These are great kids, and they're much more community-minded than I was. And so at Tulane, we have mandatory community service, which is we're the only university to have that. We implemented it right after Katrina. One of the interesting things now is women are better educated than men in most traditional marriages. And that's amazing, what a change that has been. Also, these people are more mobile, more urban. They start families later. They've got a lot of student debt, a little less now, but and they've got second jobs and side hustles. And they want adventures and not stuff. The French Quarter is really known for their antiques on Royal Street. And I talked to a guy, and he said, business has slowed down because this generation doesn't want stuff. You know, remember before mom and dad would die and the kids would kill each other for the silverware and everything? That's not what's happening anymore. So it's kind of interesting. In fact, if you look at this really shows what's happened. The record share of men that are marrying up. Now, most of the time we use marrying up as a term to indicate that you're marrying somebody who has more money than you, or their family has more money than your family. But this is for education. And you can see what a big spread there was. And now it's crossed. If you went to a university, you might not notice it unless they said it. But Tulane is now 70-30 women.